Ladies and gentlemen, it's 21:05 on Nights Out with Chuma to Friday. How's your Friday, everybody? Today I'm excited. Tonight I'm excited, actually. We have a very special guest coming to join us. His name is Kachepa Mtumbi. Now, this man has been causing a lot of problems on social media because he writes a piece every Friday. It comes out. It's called Men These Days. I want him to come here and explain what Men These Days is all about. Look out for that one. Also, as usual, closing off the show, my boy DJ Rich Boy is coming through to drop us that Friday hot mix. Otherwise, we kick off the show with your party starter. So what song? LSK City, Copper Belt, Monze, Choma. What song starts your party? 097-8895-895. Holla at your boy. You can send voice notes only for your party starter. I'll kick it off today. This is the song that gets my party started. Welcome to Nights Out. Feeling this one all the time. Mr. Rocks and Mula Levo Siyavana. Mula is actually from our neighborhood. We grew up in the same hood. John Howard, Komboka, Chawama. Yes, that's where we grew up. And when I say we, I mean with this chap that is here in the studio with me. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Chuma. How are you doing? Chuma Piri, actually. How are you?
Okay, why are we being formal?
I think you're grown, man.
Let's keep it fresh, you know? We're trying to be fresh with the youngins, the new wave. Because I'm with Sika with our gray hair.
So you're like, just Chuma.
I'm just Chuma. Okay. I'm just Chuma. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
I think a lot of people haven't heard this voice on radio in a long time. And I'm about to ask you the same question I asked my previous two guests. You don't miss radio?
I do.
You do?
I do. I miss it. But I guess maybe I'm just not in the zone to do radio anymore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does that mean? You're not in the zone to do radio anymore when you miss it?
Look, I think there's time for everything. Mm-hmm. And the time I was doing radio was the time I was supposed to be doing radio.
Yeah.
And now maybe I work more in radio rather than on radio.
On radio. Yeah. And you're fine with that?
I'm okay with it.
If an opportunity came for you to be on air, would you take it?
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
On the NDA. You're also doing NDAs.
No, it depends on whether I'm able to tuck in my kids to bed and I get more time with my family.
I see. I see. I want to touch on that. Family, as a husband as well. And
wow, you know, like, it sounds weird, eh?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
See? So I want to touch on that as well. And also, this thing that you started doing, is it in a month? Has it been a month?
No, it's been 2 months now.
2 months. Men These Days. I want us to talk about that, right? But before we get into anything, it's Nights Out. We always start off with a party starter. Everybody has that one song. When they hear it, you get up. Whether you waku church, whether you there's just one song that just triggers things in you. And I know Kachepa Mtumbi has one. Do you have a ratchet song?
I don't think it's ratchet, but it just gets me going, you know. So I like Nalu. This is from his second album. That album from start to finish, no skips.
Yeah.
That's the album for me, the Zambian album for me.
Yeah.
Better than the first. I think Nalu's second album is probably one of the modern classics of Zambian music.
You know, and you're really taking me back, right? So Nalu, what song?
Nalelo Chireri.
Nalelo Chireri. We can't even say it. Nalelo Shan.
At Nalelo Chireri.
Well, you're butchering this member.
Yeah, they'll probably. Yeah.
Look, I'm glad that you took us back that time. from then to where we are right now, I know you don't want to talk about Zambian music, but I'm just gonna bring it here because you still consider that to be your Zambian album.
Yeah, I think
all time.
Not all time, but in modern Zambian music,
yeah,
that for me is the album that took me by surprise, because the first album was really good and nobody expects you to do better than your first.
Yeah.
So album number 2 from Nalu, the production, it was cooler beats, it was just mastered well. Everything was done perfectly on that album.
Yeah.
I love it.
Fast forward to where we are right now. We're heading in the right direction?
There's a few. Is cats the right word? Is it the cool word to use?
I think that's what the kids are using. Cats, right? Dweebs, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a few cats who get it. They know what, they know their way around the studio, the production, the mastering.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the image. I think even the production values now, I think I've gone up with some of the artists, and I think it's something that I can say, yes, there's probably a handful of artists that are doing in the right direction. Yeah.
Just a disclaimer, folks, before Mtumbi my phone and shout at us that who are you to talk about Zambian music? No, it's his personal opinion. It's his personal opinion. Their views expressed by Kachepa Mtumbi are not for the station.
No, they're not.
They're not for Chuma Piri.
No.
These are his personal views. In his opinion. Nah? We didn't say we are music authorities of Zambia.
No, we're not by a stretch.
Yes.
It's just opinions based on the 100 years we've been dealing with Zambian music. So yeah,
that's it. This is the song that gets Kachepa ratchet. Hang tight.
Nights Out with Chuma.
Her name is Nalu featuring Shimasta. It's called Nalelo Chile Lila. This is Kachepa's ratchet song. This is the song that gets him dancing or gets him up from whatever he's doing. He's in the studio with us. We're catching up with the man himself.
Nights Out with Chuma.
Kachepa Mtumbi.
Chuma.
So, well, he did not do any ratchet stuff. He was so calm when that's the song that gets him up. But hey, we will talk about that another time. What have you been up to, buddy?
Quite a lot. I've been writing, I've been working in PR, advertising, and raising a family.
Yeah. How's work? Are you enjoying the space, the PR, the writing? Are you enjoying the space?
I enjoyed the PR for quite a while, about a nice 10-year stretch where I think I did what I felt I could do to push the industry forward and the clients that I worked with forward. And then after that, I felt, look, I think this is where I feel I can now hand over to, a generation that can now do things the way the times demand.
Yeah.
And now I'm spending a little bit more time writing.
So, and folks, he is saying I did PR for 10 years, like this guy doesn't do PR. I mean, he had to just put out a press release. Do you know Olivia Pope?
Nah, come on.
No, I'm not. We're not dumbing down anything today, dude. Do you know Olivia Pope, folks? Kachepa is the fixer. Call him to fix anything.
I wish I was.
Call him, he will fix anything. Are we allowed to?
My wife won't agree because there's like some leaking taps.
Okay, so
take forever to fix.
We're gonna get to you fixing the.
To be honest,
already that's a problem. So you can fix everybody's problems, but kunyumba kuliko.
Yeah. When are you going to fix this? This thing hasn't been fixed for the longest time. But when I asked to sort out a crisis for a client, it's done within maybe a couple of days. And, that's the thing. When you're professional and personal, it's completely different.
Completely different. Yeah. I want to talk about PR just a little bit. And then your kind of PR, crisis fixing. Do we have a lot of that in Z? I see a lot of crises.
Yeah.
And nobody fixing it.
No, the truth is you wouldn't know if you've got a lot of people fixing the problems of different brands, because I can tell you about the last brand that I worked on. major crisis, but it didn't get into the press. So it helps sometimes.
That's fixing, right?
Yes. So it helps sometimes that you manage a brand not to get into the public space, social media, newspapers, radio, TV. That I think is the work that really stands out, as opposed to the story got into the press and then now you have to pull it out.
So I'm going to throw a crisis at you right now. It's all over the news. Our coach apparently touched some breastises. Somebody's chest.
Yeah.
It's already in the media. How do you fix something like that?
I think the first thing you should have done is win. To be honest, I think
we would have forgotten about it, right?
That would have been the first thing that people would have said. Look, we don't care what you're up to for now.
Yeah.
After you win and we've settled down, were you doing this? But to be very honest, the first thing to do is actually deal with the issue before it gets out of hand. And we knew before the World Cup started that this issue was already being discussed on social media. It was already in the press. The best way to avoid a crisis is to avoid a crisis. So they knew the allegations were on long before we went to the World Cup. They needed to sit down, train him, speak to him about the allegations, put him in front of a camera, one-on-one interview with maybe a selected media house. Maybe it could have been Phoenix, and let the people talk. Could have been on the breakfast show. Say, listen, what are we hearing? Is this right? Kill it before it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Then when you fly out for the World Cup, any allegations that come up in foreign media, you just reference to Phoenix and say, listen, we had this.
We already talked about this.
We clarified it, and here's the link. So
he's very lucky. Like international media haven't asked him while he was there.
They did actually.
Did they?
And unfortunately, I don't think he's been media trained to address these issues, because he would have given a statement that says, listen, we've already dealt with this issue. You can refer to our previous statement from Football Association of Zambia.
You say one really important thing, media training.
Yeah.
Are we open to that as a client? Are we open to, okay, Kachepa says I need to learn how to speak to the media. I'm the CEO of this place. I don't need you to tell me how to talk. I know how to do this.
They usually ask for it when they've got a crisis. That's literally the case. But before everything else, if everything is good, the balance, the balance sheet looks good, they're profitable, the product is selling, there's no need to talk to get any media training, because they think they won't need it.
I'm good.
But the moment one of their products has got a cockroach in it, they start scampering. How can we deal with the media better? And then they learn that they're not actually media trained, because the first question they'll ask is, do you eat your product? And then if they don't have an answer that's clear-cut, then it's a problem.
It's a problem,
so I tend to think most people think they know what they're going to say when the media comes, but they don't. That's my general experience.
Funny enough, even us guys in the media don't know how to speak to media, because that question, I've heard a lot of radio owners being asked, do you listen to Zambian radio? And they say, no, I don't listen to Zambian radio.
And why wouldn't you listen to Zambian?
But you own a Zambian radio station, so why aren't you listening to it?
You should be your product. Yeah, and if you run a daycare, your children should be at that daycare, because your kids are going to get the experience that you're selling. So I don't see the point in saying, this is the daycare I run, but my kids go to another school.
Yeah.
It means you don't trust your own brand. So
exactly.
I always believe you should be your brand.
Yeah, so we also need media training as media personalities.
Everybody needs media training. Even a nun needs media training.
Exactly.
You see, the thing is, we tend to think the media isn't as powerful as it is until they're calling you or camped outside your building saying, we want answers. So that's when you realize this thing is powerful. From social media to radio to newspapers. I know newspapers don't have as much impact, but media is media. It can make or break you overnight.
I'm going to come back and talk about the writing, because I want that's what's going to lead us into the recent thing you started 2 months ago. Let's go personal.
Okay.
So you're good at fixing everybody's problems. Nanga kuboba at how? You're a man living with 3 women. How's that?
Look, I didn't sign up for it that I would end up being a man with 3 women in my house, but you sign up for the family.
Yeah.
You don't choose some of these things. I mean, I don't think I would sit and say I want boy or girl, boy or girl. No, I'm happy with my family.
Well, apparently now you can pick the sex.
Designer babies,
Yes.
they call them. But
Yeah.
for me, I am 100% content with my situation, my daughters and my wife. And it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says the future is female, and then you find yourself this guy in a house where you've got 3 different personalities, and you have to navigate this new world where you are not stepping on people's toes. You are also being empowering.
Yeah.
You are enabling them to be their best. So it's a very different environment for most men, but I think I'm navigating it well.
I'm glad you mentioned empowering. How are you empowering the women in your home?
I have deliberately taken a step back. Mainly because I feel they need to feel that they've got my backing. We're not in competition, and this extends to not just my daughters and my wife, but my sisters, my cousins, my nieces. All the women in my life know that 100% I'm backing them, and I'm not competing with them. But when we narrow it down to my family, I think, I'll be very, very honest, there's no day that passes in my house without hearing a compliment.
Yeah?
Yeah, if my daughter does this, I'm like, oh, you look good, well done. They just need that reinforcement, and that's what I'm always doing. So I'm number 1 cheerleader for my girls and my wife.
And I was going to say, what about wifey? What about the boss? Does she get these compliments as well?
she might think she doesn't, but I do. I think I try my best.
Yeah.
Although I think I could still do more.
I've hung out with you and your wife, and you two are really cool. Would you say you found your friend, your best friend?
Yeah, she's my friend.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I can define her anything other than my really, really good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's my wife and the mother of my kids after that. But number 1, she's my friend. How
is the relationship now between man and woman in this age where it's just women? So you're running your own company.
Could I correct you on that?
Yes.
Because, you see, we're here now because you're saying women, but Adam thought he had it made. And then God just says, listen, I don't think you figured it out, so I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
And then he brings in this figure, and this figure defines the future and decides whether, I don't know what the apple symbolizes, but she decides to take a bite from the apple, right? I'm just saying. So she decides to take a bite from the apple, and then everything changes. Everything changes. So I don't think women are only getting into this space of power and influence and, awareness now. Women have been influential from day one.
From day one, right? Yeah. So, okay, I'm not going to get into that story because now it's going to be a long conversation. I want to, with what the media is saying, right? You are a man that works from home, running your own company. Your wife is in the corporate space. She's climbing up the ladder and all of that. Do you feel pressure?
No, because I think you have to be comfortable in your own skin as a man. And I can tell you easily that there are men who are security guards with their wives that are cashiers or even managers. I'll tell you this, there's no fixed model for how it should work. And as a man, I think you need to be very, very comfortable in your space. You do not need to look at the next guy, or you need to look at your woman and say, where am I fitting in? Focus on yourself first, grow from there, because trust me, I don't think you'll be in a good space if you're not comfortable where you are.
Chepa, how do I become comfortable when I hear them saying I wouldn't date a guy who drives a bus?
Then that's not the woman for you.
That's what everyone is saying.
Well, then you're in the wrong group.
So we should leave Zambia?
No.
But that's what
That's what. Tell me. Explain that to me. What kind of women are you hanging around with?
No, it's not me. I'm not a bus driver. Not me. So I'm just saying it's on the media.
No, but look, I think it's also down to what you consume. If you're consuming garbage, your mind will be garbage. You only see one aspect of the conversation. I deliberately find balanced conversations where men have a say, women have a say, and then when we put those conversations together, you decide that there's actually so much to be gained from this conversation where people feel like men are being left behind and women are moving forward. Listen, it's equal footing as what people want, but also it's down to you as a man. What do you want?
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with women.
Yeah.
It's never had anything to do with women. What do you want as a man? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to get ripped? Do you want to get muscles? Do you want to read?
Do you want a pot belly?
It's all up to you.
Do you want a slay queen?
Yeah.
Do you want a church girl?
No, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to get to that extent. Fix yourself first.
Yeah, Kayedi, well, after I'm done. Well, the whole point is after I fix myself.
But why are women the end game?
That's what society said.
Then
settle down as a man. You need a woman.
That's what society say. But what's your heart telling you? Don't you need to work on yourself first before you listen to society? Okay,
I'll work on myself, but I want a slay queen.
You want a slay queen?
So that's allowed?
I don't even know what a slay queen is, man. I've been married like 13 years and I don't know what a slay queen is.
Men these days. Men these days.
Look, so I've got a wife and 2 daughters. And there's certain conversations that just fade away.
Yeah.
Because you don't see them anymore, because you've narrowed your world around, these 3 people who you feel you need to be your best for. So certain aspects of your life just don't have that component. And I believe when I hear words like slay queen, baddie, these are not words that have any significance in my household.
Yeah.
For me, this is my wife, this is my friend, these are my daughters. I don't see baddies, I don't see slay queens, I don't see these definitions.
Yeah. Okay, nice one, interesting. I'm gonna go to your socials. I'm still talking about your home. You posted something about your daughter. It was her birthday
last month.
Is it last month?
Yeah, July 14th.
Yeah.
And then June 18th, so I've got back-to-back birthdays. Don't ask how that happened, but yeah.
We won't get into that. Your wife might kill us if you gave too much. If you gave too much. There's a post you shared. I think it was I'm not going to say the exact words.
Okay.
But you said, I thought raising the first girl will give me a blueprint of how to
raise the next. Yeah.
But they're totally 2 different human beings.
Completely different.
Are they?
Yeah, they are. And I enjoy that because I think I was telling another friend of mine that I've got 2 kids and one is 10, the other is 6. And I don't consider myself to have been a dad for 10 years. I consider myself to have been a dad for 16 years. Because each of them are different. Like, you compress all that and it's not enough. So the 6-year-old is completely different from the 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think you learn. As a parent, you learn every single day.
So parenting doesn't have a manual?
No, it doesn't have a manual. I mean, you could give me the same child in a different time when there's no social media and I'll raise a different child. That's just the reality.
Wow.
If I raise my child in the 80s, she wouldn't be raised in the same way as one that's been born in the last 10 years.
Wow.
There's a science to it that I can't explain, but I just know that you need different skills and tools for different times.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're hanging out with Kachepa. It's now 30 minutes gone after 22. On the other side, we're going to come back and talk about men these days. Is this what men these days sound like? Like this man here? We're going to find out. What made him come up with that article? Why are you talking about men these days, Kachepa? People want to know. We're going to come back and do that. It is Nights Out 22:31 right here. Let's break off with some Mr. Easy. And teaming up with Joe Boy. It's called Partake. Mr. Easy, Partake, featuring DJ Tariko and Joey B. 34 minutes after 22 on Nights Out. If you're joining us, my guest on Famous Fridays is Kachepa Mtumbi. Kachepa, you've been doing can I call it an article?
It's a column.
Yeah, waona Stevie Z I say. A column titled Men These Days. And ever since it went up, I remember the first one, it got a lot of people talking. What made you start doing that column?
I think there was obviously not enough voices, not enough male voices in media talking about their different issues. And we looked at how in the last few years, most conversations around men were perhaps more negative than positive. And this isn't even about women saying negative things, but men themselves not saying enough positive things about themselves and encouraging each other to do better and be better. And so we collaborated with an NGO that focuses on men's, development, personal development, and also women's gender rights. So it's not an NGO that's just focused on men. It actually encourages gender balance, women to be more supported in whatever aspects of society, and also the development of boys. And when we looked at the conversation, we realized that if we develop more of these topics, for men to feel comfortable to come out and say, listen, this is what I'm going through and this is how I have navigated it, we would get men to open up a bit more. Because most men, to be very honest, even with their closest friends, will not share what they're going through. And that's what has been the genesis of that column.
Why you mentioned a lot of things in there, so I'm going to try pick on some. Yeah. So why is there not enough men voices in the media? Why? And then secondly, why do we need the voices? We are men. We've just been told just be strong. Why do you need an outlet?
So the first thing is the reason why men don't have enough voices because they have never felt comfortable to speak about even their positives. Most times, even when men are successful, they tend to internalize it and say, listen, I'm doing well, but this is the end game. We do not feel we need to celebrate our goals and our successes and come out in public about them. Why? Because it always looks like, listen, why are you celebrating what you're supposed to do anyway? And then the second one was, sorry, it's late. I'm usually asleep by this time. What was your second question?
What? Why is there not enough? Why was there not enough men voices?
I still think there's not enough because the reason why there wasn't enough is because, again, it comes back to why should you express yourself? Why should you be the odd one out to talk about these issues? And men have this thing where if one of us comes out and says, I'm really happy about my marriage or I'm really happy about my career, people step back and say, well, why are you talking about this? Talk about football.
Yeah.
Talk about, your motoring and basketball, but don't talk about what you're going through as a man.
So now you're telling me everything I've been taught is wrong. I need to speak about these things.
It's not wrong.
I need to celebrate my wins, my friends' wins. I need to encourage my friends, myself. I need to do that.
The way we did things in the past may or may not have worked. Our parents, our grandparents didn't have the same challenges that we have today. So I would highly recommend that you adapt as a man. And if you feel you need to talk about your business succeeding or failing, talk about it. Because that's where you get your help. And most people tend to think you should only be able to talk about things that are safe as a man.
But then I'll give you this. An example. I'm a man. My business is not going really well. In fact, it goes really bad. Bailiffs come and get stuff, I'm homeless. I have to sell my car, my house, my kids are taken out of school. The moment I share that with my friend, I'll be a topic in some group. So that's why we don't talk.
But do you know that comes from people who are also going through it?
And by the way, it's fellow men that are doing this.
Do you know that men actually are gossips?
Yeah.
And I know I'm probably going to get crucified for this, but men gossip a lot.
Yeah.
And they do it not from a position of wanting to see other people do better. You feel better when you kick a man that's down.
Yeah.
But I genuinely feel, and this is me personally, I personally feel most criticism from men of men comes from a very, very bad place. If you know what men go through to put food on the table, to get food taken away from the table by circumstances, for them to raise a family, you will know better than to criticize a man when he's expressing himself.
But we do it. Why?
I think we need to do a lot of learning and unlearning. We learned from, a generation that felt, listen, just get on with it. Don't complain.
Yeah.
Of course, you shouldn't complain, but don't talk about it.
We shouldn't?
No, I don't think you should complain. There's no room for complaining. You can only express what you're going through, but don't complain.
So limba, che.
No, not really.
Limba.
No, and that's the thing. There's a whole big difference between
Limba.
don't complain and talk about your issues.
Mm-hmm.
Complaining can go on forever.
Yeah.
But when you talk about your issues, it means you're looking for a solution. Complaining is all about just saying stuff isn't going well.
Okay.
But when you talk about your solution, it's like, well, what's not going well? Well, I'm not in the best of health, for instance. If you are maybe in your 50s and you think you haven't achieved enough, when you start talking about that, you might get somebody to say, you know what, I think I know a doctor who can help you with this.
So I can say, boy, means a very careless penak. Ninaka STD. Susan Waneram.
To be honest, if you have a circle of friends who feel uncomfortable talking about that, then you've got the wrong circle.
Then you
have to have a network that you're able to say, listen, guys, I'm running short on this. Malaita Sidak Nyumba, I need help. Can I crowdfund in my WhatsApp group? Guys, could you please help me with a 50 each? And you've got a group of maybe 5 people. That's 250 kwacha.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about these things. We want to act like we've figured it out.
This one was very interesting. He is not texting his side chick in the car. What is that?
When a man is going through things, it's natural for people around him to think, what is he doing to cope? And I gave an example that when you drive home and you park your car, before you get out of the car, a lot of men are accused of deleting messages from side pieces, and they're probably, calling a girl saying, don't call me, I'm now home. But it's usually not the case. I can probably say 80% of the time when a man is going through things, the last thing on his mind, if at all, is another woman.
So this happens a lot.
And 80% is based on my experience, my conversations with different men when I'm researching for these columns.
Yeah, so this happens in homes.
It does.
A guy arrives home and he's in his car for how long?
He could be there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but also he may not even be going through things. The business or the career might be going well, fat bank account, great health, the kids are healthy, they're in good schools, but he just needs to decompress. I mean, when you're dealing with, you've been looking at an Excel sheet the whole day, and then you get home and you don't transition from that to home, it's very easy to snap. And you don't want to bring that energy into your home.
The home.
No, you want to be able to leave work at work and come home and be a husband, be a dad, be a son, be an uncle, and be who you're best when you're home.
So Mwamvela, he's not texting the side chick.
Hardly.
He's getting out of his work mode, shifting into husband and daddy mode.
Yeah. Not
a side chick. He's already dealt with that at the office. The other one. The other one. Apa boy, I think you are putting yourself mukabot.
Okay.
First, what is mukaboto? What is putting yourself in a bottle? What is that?
I think it comes from how society always thinks that when a man loves his wife and his family, then unamfaka mukaboto, because he's not able to see beyond his passion for his family.
So something yamankwala. So
yes, something. And then there's also this relationship that men have with a bottle. That every time they, have issues, they drown themselves in alcohol. But for me, I truly believe that sometimes this is self-inflicted. You should be able to determine that, look, I think maybe I'm now bottling my emotions and I should be able to speak about them. So when we talk about bottling, it's like today you may not have had that job interview you wanted. You may not have secured that contract, and you may not have maybe gotten the proposal that you wanted. Your wife or your prospective wife said no.
Yeah. And
you're going to bottle it, and you bottle it for the next 3 months. And the day it comes out, it's going to be explosive, because then you're going to have tension, you're going to have stress. So stop bottling your issues. The moment you experience them, find an outlet, and that outlet could easily be sitting in your car before you get into the house.
And a lot of us bottle stuff, eh?
Yeah, men are very good at bottling.
And I don't know if we're we're very good, but it's not a good thing.
No, it's not. It's not.
We're good at that. Another one. Time to bet on yourself. I didn't finish it, but I just picked that part. Time to bet on yourself. Shouldn't we be doing that all the time? We don't?
I think for the longest time, we always expect people to validate us, to let us know we're good at what we do, but it all lies in you believing in yourself. And the context of that column was based on how men are really now getting into gambling and the shortcut to wealth, shortcut to money for the weekend, for a chill.
For my slay queen.
Yeah, for the long weekend that's coming up, so that you can be able to, post photos at a toll gate.
Yeah.
You need to be able to look at yourself as well and say, listen, why do I believe so much in external validation when internally I should be able to say, listen, what are my skills? What is my talent? What is my gift? And how can I monetize this? How can I take it forward? And the mistake I think that we all make as human beings, and not just men, is that we look too much for external validation. When people say we're great at something, then we then follow through with it. But to be honest, it's internal. You need to build from within and go out there and see what you can do with your gifts.
So, Kachepa na beula, you're telling me I shouldn't buy a nice car?
No, you should. But all I'm simply saying is you don't need to expect people to sort things out for yourself. For you, you need to sort things for yourself.
I always say this. I've seen a lot of us guys work our butts off the whole week. Friday afika zasila zones.
Why? Where?
Because you're spending on other people.
And which people are these?
Wanting validation. Chuma in school. Chuma ni big buyer. Chuma ni, even my slay queens. Hey, Chuma, we are ready.
Wait a minute, you've mentioned slay queen, I think, like 6 times in this interview. What is a slay queen?
A lady of the night, I guess. I don't know. I hear it a lot, so it's at night. I figured it's slay queen.
Do you think men are so involved, so invested in that culture?
I think so.
What could be the problem?
Validation. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think it's validation. Why do we have 17 girls plus your wife?
Is this a new thing, or it's just that it's much more visible because of social media now?
I don't know. Is it?
I tend to think, I can give you an example of King Solomon. King Solomon had so many women.
But they were all officially his.
Yeah, that could be the argument, because we weren't there.
Yes. They were all officially his.
Yeah, but my thinking is these things are not new. And we tend to get excited with people saying slay queen, but there's probably been, Jezebel was a slay queen in the Bible.
It's the second time you're mentioning that book, but hey, you want to go there?
I would say in the last few years I've gotten religious, and I've read quite a bit of the Bible, the Quran, just to understand where we're coming from.
So you think the slay thing is not a new thing?
It's not new.
It's just that now it's publicized a lot.
Look at this. Look at it this way. People have paid taxes forever, from the time the world began.
Yeah.
People have paid taxes. There's always been women that may not have been straightforward. There's been thieves. There've been lawyers. We've been here before. So we're doing, we've been here before. All we're doing is simply we're recycling it.
Is it?
Yeah, and we're just in a different time now.
So it's not a problem.
No, it's not a problem. Look, if you go, I might get a bit deep here, but all these cave writings, that's social media.
Yeah, I didn't see any paintings of a slay queen though.
No, but that's because you can't decipher it, right?
Some had,
So if you go into a cave, even wherever it is you go, people are expressing themselves, and they're probably writing. There's probably a man these days from years back. Someone was like, listen, we need to stop hitting each other on the head with these rocks because we need to sort things out better. So there's always been conversations, and I tend to think a lot of us overcomplicate it. There's been men that have had side pieces for more than 1,000 years. There's been women who would be comfortable,
being a side piece.
No, there's women who'd be comfortable managing their families alone without the support of a man for years and years. So it's not new. We shouldn't act brand new with these things. We just need to now start adapting to the environment in which we're in.
So that we're clear, are you saying it's okay to have a side piece?
I'm not saying it's okay to have a side piece. Those are your words.
I'm
not
asking.
mine.
I'm asking. Since you're saying, but this has been happening.
But it's like saying it's okay for Adolf Hitler to reincarnate, to have him again. No. What's wrong is wrong, right? Sorry to be interviewing you on your show.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on. Time to bet on yourself. So, folks, bet on yourselves.
Yeah.
This is another one. Hardworking. That's an advert.
Yeah, it is. But it also symbolizes the way society looks at men. Do you know that most times the validation doesn't come from the people around you? Because in that advert, the women in the community are the ones who are checking out Wazulu. And they're like, why aren't you Wazulu? And he's responding to them positively.
Yeah.
But the wife isn't even in the picture. Judy is not even in the ad.
Might have been his side chicks, those same chicks who were saying, Banje Wazulu.
So my point is, if you get validation, if you seek validation externally, it's at a very high risk.
Yeah.
It's always at a very high risk.
So what was the point for this one?
The point is, men have to do a lot of hard work. And I'll be honest with you, I gave an example that if you are going through it, and going through it could easily be having a child who is terminally ill, and you've tried every doctor in the city, and you just can't find a solution. The hard work is to wake up every day and keep trying to find a solution. The easy work is to dive into drugs, alcohol, women, toxic behavior. The hard work is showing up every day for your kid, sacrificing, making sure that your home is built in a way that makes it easier for your kid. That's what the hard work is.
Others would say, why is it hard work? You're supposed to be that.
No, because
it should come naturally.
Because we've always taken the easy way out. And the easy way out is you have had a child with a woman that's not your wife, and you may not even be married, and the child has special needs. And the easy way out is, listen, I'm not sticking around for this. I think you deal with it, so I'm out.
It's your fault.
Yeah. Because I think I've had another kid and the kid is fine. So I think the problem is you. So the easy way out is to walk away. But the hard work is to say, listen, we may not be together as a couple, but our child has special needs, and what can we do to make life better for this child who didn't choose to come here? We decided to have this child.
Yeah.
That's hard work.
Men these days. The last one I picked, these Zambian women are not going anywhere.
No, they're not.
Now this felt like you were attacking the women.
Hardly.
Because I saw some comments, especially on this particular column.
I'm the last person to attack women because I think, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but in every business that I've been involved in, I've always supported women, because I know that when you support a woman, the offshoots are really huge. There's probably a mother that's going to be supported, there's a child, there's a family that will be supported. But I think people, sometimes I think maybe I write for people who don't read. Sometimes. Because when I write that, it's to say, listen, women are not going anywhere. This world where women are now here to stay, we're not changing it. It's here and we have to deal with it.
So when you say are here to stay, they've always been here. So what do you mean they're here to stay now?
I'm talking to the guy who thinks that this is probably like a 5-year stretch where women will be successful, and then after that we'll go back to washing dishes. And no, it's not going to happen. They're here to stay.
They will kneel for other things, but
yes, they're here to stay. They'll score goals at the World Cup. They will be CEOs of international brands. They will be doctors. You will take your kids to a hospital and you will have a woman treating your kid. That's just the reality. So they're here to stay. Don't get it twisted. This isn't changing. This is the reality, and you need to catch up with it and deal with it, but also don't fight it.
Do you think we are not dealing with it? As men?
I can see a lot of push-pull, and I don't even understand why. Because, listen, focus on your goals.
Isn't it because you asked for a seat at the table. I've given you this seat.
No, you haven't given them a seat.
But now you're fighting.
No, you haven't given women a seat at the table.
So where are they sitting? And which table are they at?
They have earned their right at the table. So you haven't given them that.
So we haven't given them.
No.
So we haven't empowered them.
Listen, you have partnered in their empowerment.
That's me giving them, Exe.
No, you're not.
Who gave me this power?
What do you mean?
I earned it.
Do you want to go back to the Bible?
There was no one who said, okay, now we are empowering you, the man.
If you could earn it, why can't they earn it?
I didn't say they can't earn it.
Yes, so
all I'm saying is now we are giving them.
I wouldn't say we've given them the power. I think they have set long hours in lectures. They've studied. They've worked hard to get to where they're.
Just like I have.
Yes, so we're not giving them anything.
So why is it that they'll pick a woman before they pick me?
Well, maybe she wants it more.
Girl, child, woman, they come first now.
The possibility is you're entitled.
Who?
You, as a man.
I built this. Obviously, I'm entitled.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. So it's mine. I built it.
So just because it's not given to you doesn't mean you shouldn't get it, right?
But I built it. It's mine.
You built it, but who helped you build it?
Other men.
Give me an example of something you've built without the help of a woman. Just one.
A car.
Aha, brilliant example. I like this. You know why?
Men these days.
Do you want me to go into the
Please, guys, listen, we need to have this conversation. Men these days, this is men talking, isn't it?
So there's a man that created a vehicle, and he developed this vehicle, and he needed to go to the next town, and he couldn't because he didn't trust that it could work.
Yeah.
So his wife kept telling him, "Go, you figure it out as you drive along." And he says, "No, I can't do it." One day, I just need to get my bearings right. One day he couldn't use the car because they needed to go and pick up something. So she says, "Listen, I'm gonna go," and she starts off, and the car is not even in any condition to move. She starts moving, and then as she stops, she gets help. She says, "Listen, this car has stopped, but I need it to move because I need to get to the next point where it's very important. Can you help me?" She asks the next guy, and he comes in and says, "What do you need?" And she says, "It can't accelerate." So therein comes in the acceleration model. She figures it out with him. Next, it's overheating. Maybe you need to pour water into this vehicle. And then they figure out so many aspects of the vehicle. Do you know what that brand is today? And I hope we can do some research properly, but I can throw it back at you. Do you know what that brand is today? It's the three-pointed star brand.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
The fancy one?
Yes. Why? Because a man wasn't comfortable enough to drive his own product. He wasn't confident enough to say it would take me to the next town.
I needed a guinea pig to test it on. What if it blow up?
But if it blows up? His wife influenced and said, "Listen, I will help you." So give me another product. I can explain it to you.
I'm looking at the time. I'm like, wait, what? It's already 11.
Tell me. Give me one more product.
I have more. I'm not convinced with that.
Do you know what Tesla said? There's nothing a man has created that's of value. And this is a man who never married himself.
Yeah.
So I tend to think he's got it the other way around. We need to learn to coexist.
Yeah.
And this sense of competition where no, women can't progress without the support of men and men can't progress without the support of women. Listen, we're in an environment where this is not going to change.
As for where you're sitting now, Kachepa, are you telling me men are competing with women?
I genuinely think men are competing with women.
Or it's the other way around, women are competing with men?
Listen.
Which one is it? We're just all competing?
You'd look at it as women needed a seat at the table so they can help with the decision.
That's what other men see it.
And then when the women got the seat at the table, the men started feeling like, no, but why are you making that decision when you found me sitting at this table? And then now there's this push-pull of, no, but this decision is mine. No, it's yours. No, it's mine. And then you've got competition. Meanwhile, it should be collaboration.
Isn't competition healthy?
Competition is healthy, but to be honest, I think it's getting to a point where we feel like men are feeling like they've been left behind. And that shouldn't even be the case.
Are we feeling like that, men? Is it Are we feeling like women are trying to take our spots?
I don't know. I can't speak for a lot of men, but I can safely say there's a lot of discomfort around, the emergence of women in pivotal positions, powerful positions, where men are feeling like, okay, what does this mean for us?
I think that's what it is. I think we just don't understand because it's a new thing.
Yeah.
Most of us are not used to, and I'm saying most of us because I want to generalize. I'm cool with it. I'm actually attracted to powerful women. So I'm cool if you have power. Go ahead, do your thing, baby.
I know one that you're attracted to.
Yeah, do your thing, baby. I am for it.